great man once told me that I shouldn't care about what other people think of me. Because no matter what I do, there will always be people who are going to dislike me. And if you look at the case coming from opening opposition, that's exactly what they're saying. Look, people will always dislike America. But here's the fact of the matter. No matter what course of action America takes, there will always be people who dislike us. No matter what course of action we take, we will always lose some sort of social currency. Meaning to say that if we act, we will lose social currency. If we don't act, we will also lose social currency. So I don't understand. So I want to pose one very simple question towards opening opposition. And this is why they will lose the debate. We will ask the question, what do they want America to do? Because they never want America to not do anything, essentially. Because all of their arguments are saying why America should not act. The presumption under the motion is that America should act. So on that basis alone, opening opposition should lose this debate. Sorry,
you're here.
Okay, but before I move on to my two extensions, namely about how we really destroy ISIS, and secondly firstly about why ISIS relies on tension, borrowing from the premise, and why we need to cooperate with Syria in order to destroy the tension that exists, and secondly about how we really destroy ISIS, because the fact of the matter is that it's Bashar al-Assad's action that's fueling ISIS's ability to recruit people. I'm going to have several points of rebuttal. First of all, we want to clarify again that cooperation is different from supporting. This means to say that we are already backing Bashar al-Assad's efforts to kill people. In fact, cooperation means we're going to force him to stop. And his incentive to stop doing that is we're going to stop bombing him as well. So Bashar al-Assad's effort to stop killing people and stop committing genocide against people is that we're going to stop. And we're going to stop bombing his own forces. And that serves as enough incentive for him to stop doing that and for him to act as well in fighting ISIS. That's a very simple clarification. But moreover, let me deal with a few more points of rebuttal. I want to take down this idea coming from Aloy that we're going to lose people, we're going to lose support from our own state. We think that it's ridiculous to say that everybody within America is going to stop supporting America's effort to fight ISIS. They gave us the example of the Patriot Act. And they said, look, people lost faith in America's government to fight because of the Patriot Act. Okay, fine, we agree. Some people may have lost faith in the government, but that doesn't mean everybody lost faith in the government. You have to understand that society exists in gradients. Meaning to say that the Patriot Act didn't mean everybody lost faith in the government, it triggered debate. And we think what's going to happen when America supports ISIS is that it's also going to trigger debate. In fact, what happened was that the very people that proposed this idea of cooperating with Bashar al-Assad's idea were Americans. So we think that it's safe to say that it's ridiculous that everybody's going to lose faith. We're happy to have that debate, and we don't care if we might lose some support because at the end of the day, it's more important to fight ISIS. But then, more points of rebuttal. They said we're going to lose political and social security. Again, I gave you this idea that no matter what action we take, we're always going to lose political support. But here we have to ask the question, what's more important? Making some people dislike us, or the fact that people are dying on the ground? We tell you that preventing ISIS from killing more and more people and preventing ISIS from gaining more power is more important than losing what amount. But then we tell you that if we are able to defeat ISIS, then we don't lose social currency, we gain social currency because we look better when we're able to defeat ISIS. Last point of rebuttal. They said America has to be ideologically consistent because apparently America has always been consistent in standing for backing freedom. This is simply untrue. Back during the Cold War, America backed a dictator in Cuba called Batista. He did that to fight communism. America backed Ferdinand Marcos because they wanted to fight communism in the Philippines. So America's principle is not to sign up for freedom. America's principle is to stand up for themselves and to defend themselves. And we tell you today that America defeating ISIS is the more important principle. But let's engage with their frame for a second, which is something that they failed to do. Let's assume for a second that America's principle is in fact protecting freedom. Here we want to ask a simple question. Where is more freedom lost, right? Where you have a dictator or an insane group like ISIS, which isn't just concerned with imposing their own rule, where you have a group that will kill everybody that doesn't agree with them. This is a level of dictator that we have never seen before. So engaging in their own frame, people lose more freedom on their world where they don't defend ISIS. But before I move on,
here's the thing. On your model, when there's popular opinion against this kind of intervention, it's harder for the state to be able to mobilize these kinds of things. That's why we have government shutdowns and gridlocks, because there's a standstill in those debates, because some people are against, some people are for.
Okay, 3 points of rebuttal. First of all, we already told you that it's not that's kind of an assertion because he never showed us that there is popular opinion against ISIS. But even if that is true, let's assume for a second that is true, that there is popular opinion against America cooperating with Bashar al-Assad. We don't care. There was popular opinion against going into Iraq. There was popular opinion against having airstrikes in Yemen. There was popular opinion against all of these things. But we argue to you that sometimes America has to make these hard decisions. America has to go against popular opinion in order to protect the greater good, which is preventing people from dying under ISIS. But before I move on, I want to move on to my points of extension. First of all, ISIS relies on tension, which is something that they said. ISIS relies on us being divided, and we agree with that. And we also want to borrow a premise coming from opening government that you need like Iran and Russia are there, and they're different. But here's where we differ coming from them, because our conclusion is different. Because while they said that America complicates the conflict in Syria, we're going to tell you that the fact that there are a multiplicity of actors fighting ISIS makes the conflict different. Because here's the thing, you need a united front against ISIS, simply because you need more people to fight ISIS, but also because of geography. Because let's take a look at the map, right? You have Bashar al-Assad in Syria, ISIS is in Syria. You have ISIS in Iraq, and America has you have ISIS in Iraq. And then you have Turkey in the north and also Russia up there. What does this show? It shows that all of America's allies, all of the people who can potentially fight ISIS, surround ISIS. But we are all divided precisely because Russia and Iran are against the fact that America does not want to back up or at least stop bombing Bashar al-Assad. So what does this mean? We agree that ISIS is the more important actor in this debate. They're the more important person that we need to stop. But in order to stop them, it's not just about there being conflict in Syria. It's also about using that geographical advantage that we have and uniting all of the people here in a concerted, united, organized effort to defeat ISIS. We're happy to support that, whether or not we use political support. No, thank you. Now, I want to move on to my last point of extension, right? Where are we really able to defeat ISIS? And here's a very simple question. What is the real problem behind ISIS? Is it the fact that they have more money? Is it the fact that they have more arms? We tell you coming from opposing government today that the fact that ISIS is so powerful is because they have so many recruits. It's their ability to market themselves. It's their ability to gain their recruits. And part of that is because of Bashar al-Assad's actions. We agree with them. People have several options. One is to join the Free Syrian Army, but the other one is to join ISIS, right? Because ISIS is seen as the lesser evil. Why is Assad under our policy, and how do we stop ISIS from gaining more and more troops? We tell this is Assad under our policy because of a number of reasons. What does cooperation mean? We already told you that we're going to force Bashar al-Assad to stop. So right there, Bashar al-Assad stops bombing people, they have less incentive to join ISIS, and that in itself is a good thing. ISIS gaining less recruits is better than ISIS gaining more recruits, but the Free Syrian rebels getting more recruits. But secondly, how do we gain more recruits on our side of the house? If your oppressor stops oppressing you, if your oppressor stops oppressing you, because they are willing to cooperate with a person who is their enemy as well, in order to defeat this common enemy, that's a powerful narrative, Mr. Speaker. It's a narrative that shows that everybody, no, even your enemy, even the person who is supporting you, is against this one threat, which is ISIS. Which means people on the ground who are being killed by Bashar al-Assad's regime, people on the ground who might have been killed by the Free Syrian rebels, all see that both actors in this debate, all actors in this debate, are united against this one common enemy, which is ISIS. And we need a powerful narrative in order to counter the narrative that ISIS has. In order to counter the narrative that ISIS is the best result or the best recourse to fight Bashar al-Assad's regime, because it isn't. If you're on the side of truly fighting ISIS, and if you're on the side of defeating the most important threat, put this high school team into the semis. Thanks.
Yeah.